Welcome to a new video, and this video will be something new. It will be an experience report, and I decided to do an experience report on the Huawei Mate X3. So let's get started. So what does this experience report include? First of all, it includes the device, the Mate X3, that I used as my daily driver for a certain period of time. And I will talk a little bit about my experience with this one. But of course, I will focus on photography, because this is what this channel is also all about. Photography on smartphones, and some nitpicks, some other tips and tricks, such things. Battery life as well, because it's an important thing for people. And usually I will talk about what I experienced with this device, using this device on certain occasions. And this time around it will be my small little day trip basically to Amsterdam, where I used the Mate X3 almost exclusively. Actually exclusively for the day trip to Amsterdam. We were visiting another village there as well, where I used the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, but most of the time I was using really as a daily driver on all those trips. My primary SIM cards, actually I had two SIM cards, so all the two SIM slots that we have here on the Mate X3 are fully packed now with SIM cards, were inside of the the Mate X3. So that means that I have a couple of things to talk about, and you can visit down below in the description the timeline of what I'm talking about. First of all, let's talk about the battery life, which is quite interesting, because I used this device 100% charged, not early in the morning, because I was still working on Friday. Actually, we made the trip to the Netherlands after my work, which is roughly 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I charged the device 100% and we made the trip to the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a little bit of a specialty if you are traveling by car, because they have a new law there since a few months, I think, or 1 year maybe, or two, where you're only allowed to drive 100 kilometers per hour on the highways, which is a bit of a challenge for someone from Germany that has almost unlimited speed on some occasions on the Autobahn, the German highways. Sometimes you even have, like, of course, the limits like 130, 100, 120 or something like this. So it's not always unlimited, but it is a challenge to drive this slow, and I am not 100% used to it, even though I was driving also in New Zealand, where they also have this 100 kilometers per hour speed limit. So it is a bit of slow. 100 kilometers for my American friends is around 60 miles per hour. So it is a bit of a challenge here and there. Nevertheless, I was using the Mate X3 as my navigation device, and was first of all impressed by the large highways that there are in the Netherlands, especially when you want to go to Amsterdam. They have sometimes highways with 6 lanes in one direction, which is quite rare. Occasionally you will see this, but not like on such a long distance trip. At least it felt like a long distance trip around Europe. Usually you have like 3, maybe 2 lanes in one direction, usually on highways here in Europe. But there were like 4 or 5 times, sometimes lanes in one direction, and even 6 that I also saw once or twice. Quite interesting, as I think, because some people don't even realize that they have such a good infrastructure there. And it's quite a shame that you have this speed limit, because so many lanes and so many cars driving relatively slow there on this highway. Anyway, so I made this trip with the Mate X3 100% charged, use it for navigation. The trip, because of the slowness in the Netherlands itself that you can drive there, is around 3 hours to, not directly Amsterdam city, but we were staying a little bit outside to the hotel there. So we arrived late at night, let's say, what did I say? So we arrived around 7 to 8, I think it was. and yeah, 8, I think it was 8. Yeah, we arrived around 8, a little past 8 there. It was a bit of hard to find the parking spot. Actually, I was using Petal Maps, by the way, on the Mate X3 because I really like this kind of navigation software, because it's much more convenient for me to use it for car navigation. Not so much when you walk in a city and want to find the nearest restaurant or something like this. It can also do this, but Google Maps is still a little bit better in this, especially finding the little alleyways, the little walkways. It's not so much there yet, the Petal Maps, but for car navigation this is really cool. Did this work out? Pretty good, pretty awesome. I didn't have any issues with this at all until I was in the Netherlands, because in my yeah, not foreseeing eyes, I was not prepared to enable roaming on this device for my data sim. So what it did was it still navigated me to the location, and I figured out later data roaming turned off. And so what it did was it already pulled all the information. I think I even downloaded the offline maps for the Netherlands there and the regions of the Netherlands, because you can even choose the regions in Petal Maps that you want to download. You don't have to download the whole country if you only need certain regions there. So I have the offline maps gladly, but I was not thinking about yeah, I was thinking about maybe driving around in Germany, maybe I will lose a connection there, and it would be nice to know my way. Of course, the German Autobahn is not so hard to drive on because you have like signs everywhere, but still, just to have an ease of heart there. The thing is that, yeah, I forgot to turn on roaming, because yes, we have in the European Union the European Union roaming, so that means every data sim here is using basically the same kind of data, or does not pay any more than when you are at home. But there are some certain data limits, like you cannot use, if you have unlimited contracts, for example, that usually are not valid for outside of your country where your SIM card is registered. And the thing here was that you have to turn on roaming for when you're connected with a foreign network. And this is what I did not do here. So it still navigated me fine, but it was not giving me voice commands anymore, because I think the voice commands are coming, if you don't download them, and I did not download them, they're coming directly from some server, so it needs the internet connection for this kind of thing. But it was navigating me fine, and because I was only driving the highway, it was simply, yeah, very easy to follow the instructions on the screen. So, but I have to look more times on the screen. And why do I talk about more times looking on the screen? Because some Google Maps users will say this is normal. No, because these instructions that you usually get, the voice instructions, the voice commands that give you orders, instructions on where to go, left or right, are so accurate that you don't even need to look at the map, and you're less distracted by looking at your phone and the map there, because it gives you like instructions like the next lights turn left, or don't go left here where the lights are, but the next crossing left. And these are instructions that I usually don't get with Google Maps, and Google Maps is just telling me in 500 meters turn left. And then, yeah, in especially when you're driving the highway and you're driving so fast, 100 kilometers, but driving so fast, sometimes the distance that it's just something, and especially when they're like complicated intersections, like they're like two to the right, for example, like directly next to each other, which one you're taking. And you have to look at the map usually when you don't have Petal Maps, where Petal Maps says don't take the first exit to the right, say take the second exit to the right, such things, which is quite handy. Or also lane changes. For example, the lane, you're driving on one lane and it says then, okay, go and switch to the left lane, because this is the one that's going straight further, because the lane you are on will turn to the right. Such things are very useful, and I like it very much with Petal Maps on my Mate X3. Of course, you can install Petal Maps on every other phone that you want and try it out for yourself. It's highly depending on the country you're traveling to, and probably it is best in Europe right now because it has all the European data using, I think, what was it, TomTom navigation maps for this one here. I know that Apple is also used this material as their Apple Maps as a source material, so it might be well there as well. But yeah, first experience using this as a navigation device, worked flawlessly without any issues. GPS was always working, no issues at all with this one here. Sometimes the gyroscope was a bit off center, so the arrow pointing to where I'm looking right now was not like this or looking forward, but was like a little bit like this. But come on, this is like something that I can live with. So you get the direction, the right direction, at least roughly, which is quite good and working fine for me here. So my experience with Petal Maps and navigating with the Mate X3 was quite good. So I arrived here in Amsterdam with the Mate X3, using as the main device for navigation, GPS in a folded state, and we have down to 63%. So we have roughly 5 hours of screen on time, because I was playing with the phone earlier again as well. And this is, I think, a pretty good test, and we will see what the night still has to offer. Yeah, going around, shooting some things here for sure. And yeah, let's see how the battery life after one day will be. I think it's pretty amazing for such an foldable device. Yeah, mainly used in this folded state, but still a pretty good yeah, first impression of this device and its battery life. Yeah, and not to make it too boring, this device held up pretty fine for the first day, and I was impressed by the battery life. I will show you some pictures now, because of course I took a lot of pictures there. First of all, the day I came there, and some people will maybe know this area there, I was going to a little restaurant there to eat. It was like, what was it, 9 o'clock already, and I was like trying to find something to eat. There was like one restaurant I think open until 11, one very quick fast food restaurant, and we ordered something there. And of course I had my dog with me as well, a little Timmy. And actually he's not so little anymore. Anyway, he was also there with us on this little trip there, and he also didn't have any issues with the drive there. So usually you're a bit concerned, yeah, dog like 3 hours in a car, isn't it a problem? If you have like a normal kind of stop where you can like go to the toilet or something like this, is no issue at all with this one. So I will show you some more photos here of my trip to Amsterdam. As the restaurant is closing very soon, we had taken the takeaway and take it home to the hotel where we will eat. And yeah, I'm using the selfie video cam on the Mate X3 here in portrait mode now, so you get like yeah, an impression how this will look like in the dark here, where pretty much everything is closing up right now. It's 11 o'clock already, or soon coming to be 11 o'clock now. The screen turned on to illuminate my face, which is quite a nice feature on the Huawei devices. What do you think about this one here? Here now the hotel, and a bit quiet because some people might sleep already. So how does this look like? Stabilization, lighting, and so on. We are down, I think, to under 60% right now with the Mate X3, and it's roughly an hour after we arrived. So what do you think about this one here? So, a long day almost over. Watch is charging here on my Xperia 1 Mark 5. You have to put it like this, so it's charging, as you can see here. We have 20 past 11 almost. So yeah, probably I'll finish the day today, and the Mate X3 has just roughly under 50%, which is quite good. What do you think about the battery life here on the Mate X3? Now I am in Amsterdam, and yeah, behind me, you probably won't see it, maybe now you can see it. There's a little bit of water playing going on, and like a little gate there as well, and we are walking towards the city center basically. So let's see what we can see and find. First stop, the lunch club. We were hungry, so we ordered something to eat, but it's called just lunch club in the name, because actually what they had to offer was just like sandwiches and some hot Flammkuchen and a burger there, but basically it was like more like of a breakfast club. And yeah, we ordered something there to eat. Of course, the dog also got something. And yeah, why is the dog so wet? Because yeah, he of course wanted to play with the water and ran into the fountain. So yeah, it's a bit of wet. You can see that the Mate X3 is like a little bit like, especially for fast-moving subjects, like my dog here, yeah, less sharp. But it could be also inflicted by my hand shaking, because the dog was underneath. You can see here my arm was underneath the table, and I was stretching my arm out to get him somehow there without seeing the screen even. And yeah, some beer, of course. Heineken is not so much my taste, but yeah, anyway. And yeah, this is the view from my spot out on. And you can see here something. I wanted to test out the zoom, and you can see this is now the 10 times zoom, how well it's working. So here you cannot even see the street name we were sitting on. And here you can see the street name. You can even read underneath here what's written there. So very, very cool. The 10 times zoom, pretty good, pretty awesome for a foldable device for sure. Then many little small kind of shops and so on, and I found myself shooting more and more in between the zoom ranges. So not one time, not zoomed in completely, or 5 times, or ultra wide, just somewhere in between. And it was sharing such photos like here. This is one 41 millimeters, which is I think something roughly a little less than 1.5 times or something, 1.4 times maybe. I was shooting this one here, and it's still okay. If you zoom in, of course, here you can see maybe a little bit softer than usually with the one-time lens, but still very okay. Here I think is 1.2 times or 1 time, something like this. And you have many interesting shops there, like for example this one here as well, which is a gifts and pet shop for grooming for the dog. So yeah, of course I had the dog with me, so I was like photographing this as well. Then they had also such little shops here where they're selling little sweets and breads, which is quite interesting. A very, very small one. And yeah, just photographed in here as well, like roughly 33 millimeter, which is like, I like this photo length a lot. I was playing too much with this Nubia Z50S Pro probably. And this is 2 times zoom. Actually, you can see the time when we were there. And 2 times zoom, yeah, it's just a crop into the main sensor, but we still get nice bokeh, as you can see here. And you can see the street and people cycling and so on. Just to show you that this is possible. This is a portrait mode. Photographed some lady exiting one of those shops there. And you can see it's doing quite a well job there as well at 2 times zoom roughly. And yeah, we can zoom in. You can see like this one person is out of focus already. This one is still in focus. This lady there looking at me, photographing her. And yeah, another shot with the portrait mode. Also, again, I think 2 or 3 times zoom. And this time around, it did not do any portrait effect, like bokeh effect. But you can see already ready to be judged at the Amsterdam dungeon, and we will take a look at this later as well. But here you can see, I think it is roughly 3 times zoom here. It's a bit soft and artificial looking, so we have like there an issue, I think, at 3 times where it's not good, not as good as I would like it to be. And in comparison to other devices like slab phones, but 2 times I think it's doing a pretty nice job. Here you can see as well, this is 3 times again, but this time I think it nailed the bokeh as well. So we have the nice flowers here in the foreground. Yeah, it's not 100% sharp, but it looks very, very cool with this fake bokeh. And yeah, what do you think about this one here? And then, of course, there are canals all over the place in Amsterdam, so I had to photograph this as well. It's also like roughly 3 times. You can see that, yeah, we are losing a little bit of information. We can still read everything nice and sharp. And I think for foldable, it's still a good of a job, but probably the dedicated 3 times or almost 3 times zoom on Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 probably is doing a better job here. And this is now, I think, even 5 times zoom. Is it now 3 point something times zoom? So if you were going above 3 times zoom, then yeah, of course it's getting like a little bit less clear there as well. This is now 5 times zoom, and here we can see the Popeye coffee shop. Of course, it's Amsterdam, you can find coffee shops, and they have very funny themes. Or yeah, they're themed funnily. Like for example, this is the Popeye shop, so everything is with Popeye and spinach. And there's some other shops with Mickey Mouse and I don't know, whatever they have there. Then the herring shop, they have a lot of herring little fast food stalls there where you can buy herrings, which is quite interesting. No credit card though, so you'll be aware of this. But why I was photographing this was not only because of the herring, but because of all the little doves. You can see they have there already their place to be, and it's like full of shit there, which is was funny looking that they're selling stuff. And yeah, did I tell you about that they're selling wheat there? This is now taken with the 40mm, also cropped in a little bit, and an alien holding something here. And then we have, and this is actually a very old building. This is now the city center near the palace, and this is the Magna Casa, if I'm not completely wrong. There is a shopping center, as you can see, a shopping. So it looks like a very old kind of building, I don't know, church or castle or whatever it is, but it's or Mango shopping center. It's a shopping center anyway. And this one, as you can see here, I was taking with the ultra wide angle, 30mm. You can see here people passing by. I think it's doing a good job for a little bit of distortion for sure, but not too soft going to the sides here. As you can see, you can read clearly stuff there. You can see the face of the woman here passing by, and you can read stuff there as well. So yeah, pretty impressive kind of building. And talking about impressive buildings, first of all, at the main plaza in front of the palace, we have very old trams there, original kind of trams. They're still going. You can buy tickets and sit in them. And they're going around the city there, which is quite interesting. And then we have the palace. This is how the palace looks like. It's basically in front of this shopping center. And here we have the palace. This palace is still in use by the authorities. So usually when some head of a state of another country is coming, they're usually invited into the palace. Otherwise, the king and his queen are not using this as daily residence or something like this. And you have the possibility to also visit there. There's an open sign there as well. Also taken with the 30mm. You can see it's handling HDR as well. Pretty nice, I would say. And many people taking shots there and many people running around there. On the other side, you can see the Piket Kloppenburg building there with Madame Tussauds, which is quite interesting. And you can see this is taken with 42mm. So actually, a little zoom in 1.5 times, and I think it's still looking okay. You can see everything there is a bit sharpening up there. You can see, of course, there's some demonstrations, hot dog stand, and some people like demonstrating for various political motives and religious motives and so on. So this is like the place there, and I took, of course, a zoom shot as well. This is now with 5 times zoom, extraordinary good. The 5 times zoom, as you can see here, I didn't move my feet, just standing in the same spot. You can see the window, the details there. Even here, the people that are looking down the window, these are real people. It's not like a poster or the wax figurines. No, these are real people there. And here, even zoomed in more, 10 times zoom. You can see it's a bit soft because I think I was a bit shaking there. But there you can see also the people a little bit closer, and lots of details there as well. Of course, my dog was with us, not always on the ground running around. Sometimes we have to take him up because it's like so small and so many people around him. And might be quite dangerous, someone stepping on him. And this is the front shot that I took with the 30mm ultra wide angle here of the palace, and I think it was a quick front shot, as you can see here. I think I managed quite well, it's a bit distorted here and there. Could zoom in a little bit more, I would say, and then it would be a little bit better, than less distortion, but quite an impressive shot here. And this is a zoomed in shot. As you can see here on the top of the palace there is a statue, and I wanted to zoom in with my foldable, so 10 times zoom. You can read the time. Yes, it's 100% sharp and not comparable maybe with the 10 times zooms of the P60 Pro or the Mate 50 Pro or the P50 Pro, but still very, very respectable for a 10 times zoom. We can see all the little details of the statue here, which is quite nice, and especially for a foldable, very impressive. And here as well, the Madame Tussauds figurines there, and you can even see the people running around there. So like I said, real people there. And then we went to the Amsterdam dungeon, not really inside because there was such a long queue that nope, we skipped this one, but yeah, just to show you that we were there. And then of course Amsterdam is full of tourists, and of course people who want to earn a little bit of money with tourists, and one of those guys was this one here. Actually you're only taking donations, and I think he had a QR code and you could like buy his album or something. He was playing the piano, he had a real piano there, as you can see here, with real keys and openings. So when he was playing, all these little knuckles were moving, which is quite nice, and you can see him playing there as well. And then of course Amsterdam, the Netherlands. What would Amsterdam and the Netherlands would be without tulips? So of course we went to the tulip market, and here you can see some of the little tulips that they have there. I don't know what the sticks are for, to be honest. So if someone knows, you can write down in the comments. Actually you can buy various different tulips. You can see here one stick. This is a stick actually costs €3.50, and the tulips, one bulb costs €3 and 20. 10 bulbs actually cost €3 and 20 bulbs. €5 export quality, as you can see, you can buy them. And yeah, many of those shops, they offer of course other things there as well, like for example those little houses, those typical houses of Amsterdam. And here another one, and I think the 30mm did a quite good job here as well with the sharpness. You can read everything nice and clear, and you can see all the little details here of the little gift bags that they also offer there. And yeah, this is 27mm, so rarely that I was using the one-time zoom here. Quickly took this shot of people like going around in a boat. It was a bit hard to go with the dog, so this is why we skipped on this. But yeah, this is why you can also take photos there on this little boat. You have like windows there. You can have a tour of Amsterdam there as well. And this is another one, a rare occasion where I took this photo here. I'm not even sure what it was, but it looked pretty fancy in the middle of a crossing there. Could be a church, is it? Yeah, appears to be a church, or was a church once. And then there was another boat ship passing by. This is like now done with the 2x zoom, I think, roughly a little bit more, 2.2 or something like this zoomed in. And as you can see here, this is the smoke boat. So yeah, you have even the possibility to smoke your weed on a special boat and tour around the river if you want to. I think it is. Otherwise, I don't know why it's called smoke boat. Maybe they only smoke cigarettes. And this is at 5x zoom. A very cool side street that I noticed that looked completely different than the other ones that are crowded with tourists and crowded with shopping malls and not shopping malls, shopping shops, little shops that are there. This is like crowded with trees and some person walking by here, as you can see here. It's like pretty cool. Anyway, we went also to the market, the antique and second-hand market, and they have lots of strange and weird kind of things, like this little totem or whatever this would be sold here on this market. This is also now taken with roughly 1.3 or so, something like this. This also 1.2x zoom on the Mate X3. I'm not sure what this kind of animal is and why they're selling it like this. It's just a lizard, some sorts, because for a crocodile it's a bit too small. Yeah, I'm not sure what this actually is. If you know, you can write down in the comments as well. I found it very, very weird and took this photo as well. And also like to show you the details that you can achieve. Like if you zoom into roughly 35mm that you have with the 1x lens, you can get still very nice sharp pictures, details, all those little things that you can see on the skin of this animal are visible as well. This is an interesting church. I took the photo very quickly because we went to the red light district. It's in the middle of the day, so nothing was really going on there, and it was not allowed to film there. But the interesting part about the red light district is right next to it there's a church. And this is probably the church. You can see anno 1614. It's probably what was there first, the red light district or the church, which is quite interesting. And yeah. Then other things, very maybe not highlights, but very interesting kind of things. This is also taken with the 27mm one. So the main camera lens it looks like a little castle, but actually it's a restaurant and coffee shop. As you can see, restaurant and coffee in the Waag, which is like probably a kind of like yeah, castle, I think. And yeah, you can see it has this round like shape and looks like a little mini castle there. Anyway, you can eat there. Probably also upstairs. Looks like could be. Very interesting. And yeah, indeed, I had to take a photo with the 5x zoom to check out if I can see something upstairs, but yeah, I couldn't really. But you can see the sharpness is there, the details are there. 5x zoom is very good on the Mate X3. And there's the ultra wide angle just to show you the scale a little bit of this. Here people are sitting and eating something, drinking coffee. This is a coffee shop where you drink coffee, not the other coffee shop. And yeah, sharp, nice and sharp. HDR is doing fine, not overexposed. Like this shot very much. And then I think one of the last shots is like the lover's boat. There's also a boat or ship that is passing by the canal, and you can see how narrow this canal is. Canal Cruises Lovers it's called, and I think it's for couples to sit here and enjoy the ride. So lots and lots of stuff that you can see there. Yeah, these are the shots from Amsterdam. What do you think? I'm very impressed by the Mate X3 and about its capabilities. Yes, it's a foldable. Yes, it's not competing against the P60 Pro when it comes to the shots, but some of the shots with the main camera lens and especially the zoom, the 5x zoom, are pretty impressive if you nail them. And yeah, it was worth taking this camera with me on this trip. So overall, what do I think about the Mate X3? I think it's a pretty good device, I would say. Especially I was surprised by the relatively good battery life. I think on the day trip to Amsterdam I was a bit like annoyed that it was draining a little bit faster than I was hoping for, because I was like expecting a little bit more battery life there. I had to recharge it again in this restaurant there. But overall, the battery life was great on this device. I know you get like 5-6 hours of screen on time. This is not comparable to the Mate 50 Pro that I'm recording here with, that can get 1 hour or 2 hours longer even. But I think it's okay. It's okay, especially for how much photos I took there and videos I took there. Not all of the photos and videos I showed you right now, because some were like a little bit more private and family-like. But yeah, overall, I think I'm impressed by the Mate X3. I have to say I did not use so much the internal screen, sometimes to check out the photos when I was back in the hotel, something like this, or if I really had to zoom in and check if something is in focus, then I was opening up the device and taking a look there how good the photo turned out to be. But otherwise no issues at all with this device. GPS was working fine for navigation, even in Amsterdam city, which is quite interesting. And what I also liked was the possibility to pay with this kind of thing. So I used the Curve app here for paying. So this is also working fine on this device. So it has NFC. You can use, yeah, if you have a MasterCard, something like that, or everywhere you can pay with a MasterCard, you can use this, basically the NFC Curve app, which is working fine. And so no issues at all with this device. I could just take this device, don't have to have my normal wallet with me, which is quite nice. And yeah, nothing that I really was missing from this device. Sometimes I had to start Gbox and take a look at Google Maps, especially if I wanted to check out the rating of a specific restaurant or something like this, and get more ratings, because yeah, there are some ratings here on Petal Maps as well, but Google Maps still has more ratings there. But I also have the Yelp app. I can check out the rating as well. So in terms of apps and what I used on the Mate X3, you can use it as a normal device. And most of the time, especially when I was in Amsterdam and taking photos, I used it as a slap phone, not even opening it up, because it just felt like a slap phone. I used it like a slap phone, no issues at all. I really liked the possibility to have like this case with the little stand. Sometimes became in very handy to use this case with the stand, but that's basically it in terms of using this device as a normal slap phone. It's working fine for this. So I'm quite surprised and happy about this device, and I can recommend this device definitely for daily usage, and probably I will keep it as my daily driver for a little bit longer. Let's see, I have so many other devices that I want to try out even, yeah, but this here really as daily driver, really worthy and very, very good. What is your experience if you have a Mate X3 or another foldable phone? Can you use it as daily driver? Write it down in the comment section, especially when it comes to cameras and when it comes to batteries. And cameras, as you saw, did not disappoint.